Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video I'm going to learn how to make this beautiful dress from start to finish. In today's video we are going to be focusing on the lower part of it, and in our next video we are going to be drafting and sewing the upper part of it. Okay, so if this sounds like something you're interested to watch, keep on watching. By the way, my name is Grace. So I have my satin piece and my lining as well as my lace material ready. Okay, I start by folding my material into two since I will be cutting the front piece first. So to know the amount of fold, I'm dividing the largest part of the body, which is the hip, plus extra 6 inch. So I'm dividing it into 4 plus extra 6 inch, and I'm drawing my starting line, placing my tape at the starting line. I minus a half length, which is 16 inch, and I mark the length of the gown 58 inch plus extra 2 inch for stitching allowance. For the folding allowance I end up using 1 inch, so take note. From this starting line I'm marking our hip point as well as our nail point. Downside is going to be a line. Okay, so I'm dividing our waist circumference into 4 plus 1 inch for that and 2.5 inch for sewing allowance. I end up using 3 inch for sewing allowance. At the hip I'm dividing our hip circumference into 4 plus extra 2.5 inch for sewing allowance. So at this nail length I'm marking the exact same thing I have at the hip, and I take away 1.5 inch. I go in by 1.5 inch. Okay, you can decide to use 1 inch or 2 inch. It all depends on how curvy you want it to be. So after which from the nail length I'm connecting it straight down like so. So take your time and make it very moderate in the way that you want it to be. Like I said, for the sewing allowance I end up using 3 inch, so I'm cutting it out. Since I've cut the front, I've used the front piece as a pattern to get my back piece. I've cut down the side, the waist and the aim of it. Okay, for the back piece it's going to be 2 pieces. It's only the center of the back I'm going to show what to do now. So at the waist side I'm marking 2 inch. At the hip point I'm marking 2.5 inch. At the nail line I'm marking 2 inch, and I connect it like so. So from the aim of it I'm connecting it back to the nail line like so, and I will be cutting it out. For this dress I'm going to be attaching a dart only at the back side of this dress, so I'm removing that 1 inch at the front side. Okay, I went in by 1 inch and I come down the length of the dart. I come down by 5 inch and I connect it like so, and I will be cutting it out. So I'm removing the dart only at the front side of my dress. Okay, I don't need that at the front, but I'll be attaching my dart at the back. Okay, so after cutting it out I'm going to use the front and the back piece to cut my lining and also the lace. Okay, for the lining I've cut out my lining. I make sure that my lining is shorter than the satin fabric by 1 inch. Okay, for the lace is the same length with the satin. Okay, I'm going to adjust it to show you what I mean. All right, I make it the same length. Can you see? minus that this the lace edge, I make it the same length with the satin. All right, so that is the tricks I use. I'm going to gum my lace fabric to my satin so that it will be one piece, like so. I want it, this satin and the lace, to be one piece, so I'm using aiming gum. You can see me cutting out aiming gum, tiny piece. I'm going to place it like so and iron it out. Guys, I'm working with a sequence lace, so it's very important you place lining on top of it to iron out. You know this sequence, the sequence, the thread they use in attaching sequence to this fabric is always a plastic, so it's very simple to pull out with excess heat. So it's very important you place lining on it and iron it out so that you not end up destroying your customer material. Okay, for this gumming, I'm going to be leaving about 3 to 4 inch. This line I'm marking, that is where I'm going to stop. Okay, so I'm going to gum it, and after that I'm going to be showing you what to do next. Okay, if you are working with this type of material, please ensure that you use lining to iron it out. This is a sequence fabric. The rope that they use to attach the sequence to this fabric is always plastic, so you don't want to pull it out. Place your lining and iron it out. You can see me ironing both the front and the back piece. I've also go ahead to repeat the same process on my back piece. Okay, so moving on now, I want to attach my lining to the satin piece. You can see me at the end of it, I'm placing my lining right side facing each other. Ensure that the lining is the right lining for each side. Okay, since it's the front piece, you know it's going to be one piece, so I place it right side facing each other and stitch it down at the end of it, and after which we are going to close the two sides. Okay, we are going to close the two sides the same way we always turn our lining. Is the same thing I'm going to do. The only tricks here is that once you get to the end of this skirt, you are not going to sew, you are going to leave about 1 inch. So I'm closing the side seam now. All right, so once I get to the end of it about 1 inch, I'm going to stop there. So there will be an opening. Can you see me fixing my hand inside? There will be an opening inside. I'm also repeating the same process on the other side. Okay, please watch carefully because I'm not going to illustrate again. So watch carefully what I'm doing because I'm going to do the same process on my back piece off camera. So take note. So after turning it with lining, this is what we have. I will be sewing the back piece off camera using the same method. Can you see what we have? It's looking very neat and very beautiful. So while you're ironing it out, that 1 inch at the bottom, you're going to input aiming gum on it and iron it flat. Okay, so at this process, I'm ironing it out. Okay, like I said, the tiny opening at the bottom of it, fix in hemming gum and iron it flat. Iron the sides and iron the waist, every way to be flat. And after then, I'm going to show you what to do next. So I've also go ahead and repeat the same process on my back piece. I've ironed it out and turn it with lining as well. Okay, so now I'm placing my lining now, right side facing each other, and I mark the length of my zipper allowance. Okay, I'm marking out my zipper allowance. So I'm going to sew on this white line down to the bottom of it. I mark where my zip is going to stop because I make a very loose stitch at that point. Okay, so I'm ironing it out. If there is any excess at the bottom of it, please trim it off. So after ironing it out, I'm going to tell you what to do next. Okay, the next thing to do now is to input my dart. So from the center of the back, I'm marking 4 inch and I connect it like so. The length of the dart I use is 5.5 inch, and sorry, I later reduced it to 5 inch. Okay, so I use 5 inch for the length, while the distance from one center to another is 4 inch. This is how I'm going to stitch it down. I've done doing that. I've done stitching it down. So in case you are making a skirt, this is the center front. Come down at the center front by 1 inch and connect it to the side like this. If you are making a skirt out of it, and cut it out. But I'm not going to cut it out because I'm making a dress out of it, and shape the side, attach a band to it. Okay, since I'm making a dress, I'm not going to be doing that. So moving on to the design that we have at the front, I used organza to achieve this design at the front. So I'm placing this design like this, and I'm going to be pleating on it. Okay, so you just watch carefully what I'm doing and pleat the exact same thing on your dress if that is what you want. Okay, try to lower your iron to so that it will not burn out this organza. After ironing this design out, I'm going to use pin to pin the side so that the pleat will not scatter out. So ensure that you secure it with pins, which I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, make sure that you pin out your work at the two sides. So after pinning out the work, trim the side out. Guys, I will advise you from my experience that you trim the side by leaving 1 inch. Okay, at this organza, ensure that this organza is longer than the main piece by 1 inch at least. Okay, that is the little mistake I make there. Ensure that the organza is longer than the main piece by 1 inch. You see, after stitching it down, I noticed that the organza is dragging the this lace up, so I have to loosen the side and place it like so and stitch it down at the sides again. This is good for me because I actually work with enough allowance, but assuming I was using 1.5 inch for sewing allowance, it would have been a problem. But since I have enough allowance, it's very easy to correct that mistake. So you can use this chain design to close the stitches at the center, because the sides won't show off like this, or you use the same fabric to close this center stitch if you really want it to do so. So I'm going to add it up to my upper part to make a dress out of it. And guys, after adding up to the upper part, this is what we have. It's looking very beautiful. So we have come to the end of today's class. Let me know what you think of this dress in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching till the very end. Please do not leave without subscribing, share and like this video so that more people can get to see it, and subscribe so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video. See you all in my next video. Bye.